you don't know, look, you don't know what's going on. It was not my doing.
You still could have tried.
No excuse.
I don't care what it say. This man is my father. Boy, it's not causing him to embarrass me when he was alive. How could you?
Hang on to your seats, folks, because the Lawrence case is about to unfold with a storm of emotions that'll rattle the very foundations of family bonds. Miss Lawrence, at 28, stands shaken as she confronts a truth that could unravel her entire understanding of family.
Ms. Lawrence, you claim that 6 months ago, your mother, defendant, shared a secret she'd kept from you your entire life. After 28 years believing one man was your biological father, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to find out if the man waiting outside of our courtroom today.
The courtroom air crackles with tension as Rudolph steps in, his face a mask of disbelief and worry. He's been called upon to possibly claim a daughter he never knew existed. How will he react to the possibility that his past might have a living, breathing reminder?
What was your relationship like?
It was amazing. Wherever he would go, I would go. My dad always made sure I had money in my pocket.
I won't tell my age, but I remember trying to be fly as well.
Yeah,
so you had a good relationship.
Me and my dad had a very, I mean, we still do to this day. We have a really, really good relationship, and definitely, I mean, because he, you know.
Miss Lawrence's eyes are pools of turmoil as she recounts the day her mother dropped the bombshell. The man she grew up admiring, loving, and respecting might just be a chapter in her book of life, not the author. Can you imagine the heartache of having your whole life turned upside down?
I don't know if she told him that he was my dad, but it's to the point to where his family is like, oh, she belonged to us and she's a Rockymore for sure. And
Miss Simmons, I need to understand from you if you really get what this 28-year secret has done to your daughter.
I also didn't have a relationship with my biological father.
As the judge calls for calm, the evidence piles up. Each piece brings forward dates, times, and possible paternal connections. Rudolph's discomfort is palpable. The courtroom's eyes pierce through him, each gaze a needle of accusation or sympathy. The suspense is almost too much to bear.
Mr. Rockmore, this is the first time you've ever laid eyes on Ms. Lawrence.
Yes.
A young lady that potentially be your biological daughter.
Yes.
When you look at her today, do you feel like this could be a real possibility?
Yeah, I could see some resemblance by the eyes.
Ms. Lawrence, how do you feel right now?
I have butterflies in my stomach.
Whispers fill the room as the potential father, Mr. Rockmore, makes his presence known. His arrival sends a ripple through the court, a hopeful contender for the title of dad. His nervous glance at Miss Lawrence speaks volumes. Is he the missing piece to this family puzzle?
Yeah, exactly. She was looking over at me, and when she looked at me, I didn't want her to see me looking, so I like turned my head a little bit.
Okay.
Then she asked, was my name Rudolph? And I was like, yeah. She said, Rudolph Rockmore. I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I'm Yvette. And then she put her glasses down and looked. And I said, oh, okay. Then I remembered her and got her phone number. We exchanged numbers.
DNA results are in the air, and so is the anxiety. Miss Lawrence stands trembling. The envelope in the judge's hand holds more than just paper. It holds answers. The moment of truth is upon them, thick as the fog that clouds the future. What will it reveal? The tension is almost too much.
Mr. Rockmore, you are her father.
As the DNA results are read, a quiet falls over the room. Mr. Rockmore is confirmed as the biological father. Tears, relief, disbelief wash over Miss Lawrence's face. Decades of lies and secrets unravel before our eyes. Can you feel the emotional tide turning?
Mom, get back on your side. Oh, man.
Can you put your feelings into words and explain?
I don't even.
The court reacts with a mixture of awe and sympathy. Rudolph, the man once believed to be her father, stands aside, a figure both tragic and relieved. His life, too, has changed forever. The truth liberates, but it also binds us to new realities.
A lot of men in his situation would not step forward in this way. I know you said it's gonna take you some time. But understand that this truth has opened a door for you. Don't look at it as a closed door, because you're always going to have the relationship you have with your daddy.
Miss Lawrence and Mr. Rocamore share a moment of fragile connection. It's a beginning, but also an end. How do they build from here? Can they mend what was broken by time and secrets? The road ahead is uncertain, but filled with potential for healing.
Take your dad's place, but I will like to be in your life.
I thank you for being the man that you are, because like she said, most men wouldn't step up and do things like this nowadays. It would just be way over their head and it would get bypassed, so thank you for that.
Hold on to your seats as we unravel the story of Ms. Cayce in the court, where truth clashes with the force of a hurricane. Today, Ms. Cayce challenges the narrative spun by decades of silence surrounding her deceased father. The air crackles with suspense. Could her real father be someone she never expected?
Miss Cayce, you say that for more than 25 years, your mother has told you that a deceased man who is listed on your birth certificate is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now another man, Mr. Edwards, is claiming he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are sure Mr. Edwards is not your daughter's father?
The courtroom is buzzing as Ms. Cayce stands before the judge, her voice quivering with determination. She recounts a life built on a foundation of lies, her mother's tales now crumbling under the weight of truth. How does one deal with knowing their past was just a carefully curated fiction?
Kind of rough. It was real hard on me.
Ms. Ewing, what have you told Miss Cayce about Mr. Hawkins and your relationship?
I called his cousin to see did she want to spend time with LaConda, and she informed me then that he had been shot in the head by his brother and he was deceased. LaConda was 7 years old when I was told that.
Enter Mr. Otis Hawkins, a man thought to be long deceased, now very much alive and in the flesh. His appearance sends ripples of disbelief through the courtroom. The shock is palpable. Ms. Cayce's face is a canvas of confusion and hope. What does his return mean for her family's legacy?
It gave me 2 addresses and 3 phone numbers. At that present time, I contacted the 3 numbers that I had for him. They was all disconnected. So at that point, me being frustrated, holding everything in from being a child, I just blew up and let it go.
If you had the opportunity to speak to him, what would you have said?
It would be like a dream come true, like what anybody would love to meet Jesus.
As Mr. Hawkins speaks, his words are slow, measured, filled with regret and years of absence. He tells a tale of love lost and secrets kept, a narrative that threatens to unravel even further. How many lives have been altered by his supposed death? The courtroom hangs on every word.
You've been told for over 25 years that Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive. Jerome, please escort Hawkins into the courtroom. You need to sit down? You okay?
We go up to the witness stand.
Oh my God.
Mr. Hawkins recalls beautiful memories he has had with his supposed daughter and talks about them with tears in his eyes. Miss Cayce is also emotional because this could be the man that is her father right in front of her.
It was pretty good at first, and it just, after some years, it just went bad. When I was overseas when LaConda was born, and that was, when I got back, she was like about maybe 2 or 3 months. And that was the only Christmas that I didn't go back to Mississippi to see my parents. I stayed in California because she was just born.
You obviously love this little girl. You carrying this picture in the frame.
But just as the audience starts to digest this revelation, another twist hits like a bolt of lightning. Mr. Hawkins is not the father. The collective gasp from the crowd mirrors Ms. Cayce's own shock. How can a man presumed dead, now alive, not be the end of this mystery?
Mr. Hawkins, you are not her father.
LaConda, in my heart, you still my child. I know.
Ms. Ewing, do you know who her father is?
The plot thickens further when Mr. Hawkins' brother, a quiet man who has watched the drama unfold from the back, steps forward. His presence introduces a new chapter to this tangled tale. Could he be the key that unlocks the truth of Ms. Cayce's paternity?
So you were sleeping with him and his brother at the same time?
No, not at the same time. He was gone. He was out to sea, and I had slept with his brother twice. And I told his brother I couldn't do this no more, and I was with him.
When LaConda LaConda was born, my brother wasn't even living in California.
Nope.
My brother was not out there.
Yes, he was.
My brother came out to California after I was out the Navy.
I can understand.
And there it is, undeniable proof. Mr. Hawkins's brother is indeed Ms. Cayce's biological father. The revelation hits like a tidal wave, tears flowing freely from Ms. Cayce as she faces the man who truly gave her life.
We're at the point now where can't be no shame in our game.
There's not.
We just have to tell it like it is.
This woman has grown up her whole life thinking it was her fault her father was shot and killed.
Off of a 7-layer lie. That's not acceptable.
It's not.
And you're her mother and you can help her right this wrong. I will be in touch with you.
Prepare for a roller coaster of emotions in the courtroom as Mr. Wheat steps forward, his eyes a window to his desperate hope. Today, he battles not just for recognition, but for a chance to be the father he believes he missed out on being to Sierra Sloan.
Mr. Wheat, you filed your case because you claim you've been robbed as a father. You are desperate to prove to the defendant that you fathered her 19-year-old daughter, Sierra Sloan, and once you do, you want to make up for lost time. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Grider, you say, as much as you would like the plaintiff to be your daughter's biological father.
As Mr. Wheat makes his heartfelt plea, Ms. Grider stands firm, her resolve as unyielding as iron. She recounts her vibrant and tumultuous youth, painting a picture of a time filled with choices and mistakes. Her adamant declaration that Mr. Wheat is not the father sends shockwaves through the courtroom.
Because I was 19, I was young, dumb, and full of eggs, and I was doing me.
Young, dumb, and full of eggs and doing me. I don't think I've ever heard it explained like that. Okay. And so, Mr. Wheat, tell me the nature of your relationship with Ms. Grider. How did you meet? How did the relationship begin? Tell the court.
The plot thickens as the former stepfather, Mr. Grider, enters the fray. His signature on the birth certificate, a bond, a promise, or perhaps a lie. The paper might as well be a character itself, whispering secrets of a life mired in complexity. Who, if anyone, is Sierra's true father?
Joining us today, Mr. Grider.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions for you related to Sierra's paternity.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to know first, what was your relationship with the defendant?
She is my ex-wife.
She's your ex-wife. All right. So do you think you are Sierra's, Miss Sloan's biological father?
There is a possibility.
Sierra Sloan, the eye of the storm, sits tearfully. Her life's narrative has been nothing short of a public spectacle, a heart-rending search for identity in the spotlight. Can you imagine the pain of not knowing who to call father?
And when you say you never knew,
Never.
you were always told that it was uncertain.
I've had a father figure throughout the years, and he's watched me grow up and never really knew who my dad was.
Oh, okay. So can you tell the court, what did your mom tell you?
Well, I think when I was 15, my mom said that I looked like David because apparently me and him have the freckle line.
Drama unfolds like a curtain rising on the darkest play. The judge calls for the DNA results, the moment of truth everyone has been holding their breath for. Mr. Wheat's hands tremble, Sierra's eyes are wide with fear, and Ms. Grider braces herself. The air is thick with anticipation, each second stretching endlessly.
Take me back to the moment you found out you were pregnant.
I confronted Mac and David and told all of them, all four of them.
You told them all?
Yes.
Listen, I'm pregnant and
you could possibly be the father. Yes, I told all four of them.
All right, so in the beginning,
The silence breaks with the reading of the results. First, Mr. Grider, not the father. A collective gasp fills the room, a sound of mixed relief and dismay. But the roller coaster isn't over. Mr. Wheat's hopes hang by a thread, the last strand of his dream of fatherhood.
Get to know who you really are, so you can get to know who I really am.
How does it feel to hear that, Sierra? That he wants to get to know you and have a relationship with you and be a dad to you?
It feels good, but I'm just trying to figure it out. If he is my dad, it's just a lot to deal with.
And then the final blow. Mr. Wheat also is not the father. The words crash down like thunder, shattering the quiet hope that had built throughout the proceedings. Sierra bursts into tears, a soul-crushing moment of raw emotion pouring out for the world to see.
Mr. Grider, you are not the father.
The courtroom is steeped in a heavy silence, the weight of broken hearts palpable in the air. Mr. Wheat stands defeated, his dream of fatherhood dashed against the stark rocks of reality. How does one move forward from such profound disappointment?
Mr. Wheat, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Sierra.
Ms. Grider reaches out to Sierra, a gesture of comfort in the storm. Their bond, complicated and strained by the secrets and lies, now faces the ultimate test. Can forgiveness and love rebuild the bridges burned by doubt and uncertainty?
Mr. Wheat, are you all right? Ms. Grider, I need to ask you, because your daughter is standing here trying to be as strong as possible, and this was devastating news for her, I know.
It's devastating for me.
Yes.
And her.
Prepare for a courtroom whirlwind as Ms. Andrews faces a life-altering revelation in the Andrews case. Brace yourselves for a storm of emotions as Mr. Glenn makes a sudden and startling entrance, claiming to be the biological father of Ms. Andrews. This declaration sends shockwaves through the courtroom.
Ms. Andrews, you claim that while at a restaurant recently, you were shocked when Mr. Glenn approached you out of the blue. Now, you say he then dropped the bomb that he believes he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Glenn, you confess you kept a 30-year secret because a good family raised Ms. Andrews and you didn't want to interfere with it.
Ms. Andrews stands at the epicenter of confusion, her world rocked by Mr. Glenn's unexpected claim. Having mourned the man she always believed was her father, this new assertion unravels years of memories and family bonds. The sting of betrayal begins to seep through.
You were in a relationship with Ms. Andrews' mother.
Right.
You left town.
I left town.
By the time you come back, she had a baby.
Right.
But she never came and told you
that she was pregnant. I asked her about the child, why she didn't tell me.
With every word Mr. Glenn speaks, the foundation of Ms. Andrews' identity seems to crumble. He recounts stories of the past, moments they shared unknowingly, bringing with him proof that time has kept hidden. Can Ms. Andrews accept this new chapter of her life story?
I'm looking at the family that I grew up with like, okay, somebody has some answers. Mr. Glenn, it put me in depression. Well, it does. You wait till he died. You wait till our mother passed away. You're only your word.
And the DNA.
You could have did DNA when I was young.
As Mr. Glenn's presence disrupts the courtroom's calm, the DNA test looms like a beacon of ultimate truth. Ms. Andrews, torn between the man who raised her and the man claiming her paternity, faces an agonizing weight.
Miss Cayce, do you believe Mr. Glenn is Ms. Andrews' father?
No, I do not. Donna and Yolanda are 11 months apart. Okay, keep in mind my mother had to get pregnant again to have my baby sister.
Father of your younger sister, why not just say I'm also the father of...
The judge calls for the DNA results, a moment fraught with anxiety. The courtroom holds its breath, the silence punctuated only by the sound of the envelope tearing open. As the results are read aloud, the truth shatters the fragile peace. Mr. Glenn is indeed her biological father.
Mr. Glenn, you are her father.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my God.
A wave of emotion crashes over Ms. Andrews as she processes the news. The man she mourned, loved, and respected is not her father by blood. Tears of confusion and grief mingle as she faces Mr. Glenn, the new bearer of the title Dad. How does one reconcile such a monumental shift in life's narrative?
No! Oh my God!
You could have said something before this girl got raised by a totally different family. You could have said something before now.
Listen,
You had years to say this.
Family rifts begin to emerge as the courtroom absorbs this bombshell. Sides are taken, whispers fill the air, and the fabric of what was once a united family begins to tear. Disbelief and anger bubble to the surface. Is blood really thicker than the water of the womb?
How dare you do this to me?
Truth is what it is.
Miss Andrews, Miss Andrews, it's gonna be difficult to accept. You look, today's the day. I wanna know.
Amid the turmoil, Mr. Glenn attempts to bridge the gulf of years lost, reaching out to Ms. Andrews. His eyes, filled with regret and hope, seek forgiveness and a chance to build anew. Can a bond be forged from the ashes of this upheaval, or is the past too great a barrier?
Has counseling resources for you in your home state that can help you process this, and I wish you all the very best of luck.
You come up here and sit in the chair in the way.
Come here. Let me apologize to you, okay, for giving you a hard time all those years. I want to say you're sorry.
Ms. Andrews' response is one of poignant restraint. Her heart, though shattered by the revelations, shows the stirrings of curiosity about the man who is her true father. The journey of healing and understanding is fraught with resistance, but also a glimmer of potential connection.
There's gonna be one. There's gonna be one. Because let me tell you something. You've got 3 beautiful children. Have a man that they could have as a grandfather figure. I believe in you, and your children are counting on you, okay? Give me a hug. You can do this. You can do this.